The year China joined the WTO, the U.S. imported $102 billion in goods from China. In 10 years, that number has more than tripled to $365 billion. And our trade deficit with China, it also tripled over the same period to $273 billion. Last year, the deficit was $295 billion, by far our largest trade deficit with any nation. And America's overall trade deficit with all countries was a record $1.2 trillion just last year. The fourth year in a row, we had hit a deficit over $1 trillion. So what is the fallout from this massively lopsided trade with China alone? Well, according to 2016, a study by economists at MIT, during the first decade after China joined the WTO, the growth of imports from China cost us 2.4 million jobs. 985,000 of those just from a factory floor. And get this, the study concluded, and I quote, "International trade tends to make low-skilled workers in the U.S. worse off, not just temporarily, but on a sustained basis." Now, how is that not plastered on the office walls of every congressman in Washington, D.C.? One of the study's authors explained, quote, "It certainly is the case that trade contributes to certain lower-priced goods and services, and on the average, it lowers the cost of living. But for a displaced worker, the fact that things are 10% cheaper at Walmart is not making up the fact that they are not employed. Trade should increase GDP on aggregate, but it's going to produce winners and losers." This is what Trump is talking about. For far too long, our leaders, especially on the left, have been way too comfortable with ignoring the losers in this equation. And who are they? They are the displaced workers that have gravitated now toward Donald Trump because he actually pays attention to them. The elites are like, whoa, where's all this discontent coming from? From the people in the middle of the country who you despise. That's where it's coming from. What does this displacement of American workers look like on the ground? I'll show you. It's America's Rust Belt. It's devastation. Let me show you a couple of things. Galesburg, Illinois, once the home to Maytag, a factory known as Appliance City. It employed 5,000 people. The last refrigerator rolled off the assembly line there in 2004. Now the site, just rubble and weeds. Youngstown, Ohio, once a proud hub of American steel, churning out beams that built our skyscrapers. Until China's cheap steel flooded in, plants shut down, jobs vanished. Youngstown has lost 60% of its population since 1970. 50,000 residents left between 2010 and 2012. Gary, Indiana, used to be the site of the U.S. Steel's largest mill. In the 1970s, 30,000 people worked at that mill alone. Today, it employs 3,700. In the 1960s, the population of Gary was 180,000. Today, 68,000. It's an empty shell. The town has over 10,000 abandoned buildings. One town, Flint, Michigan, where you can set fire to water. It was once a major base for General Motors. The city has had 200,000 people in it at its height, 85,000 of them working at GM plants. Those plants closed throughout the 1990s and the early 2000s. The 235-acre Buick plant known as Buick City demolished in 2002. Today, Flint has a population of under 80,000 people. By 2018, over half the men aged 25 to 54, half were unemployed. In 1969, Detroit residents had higher incomes than Boston. By 2018, the people in Boston were 40% wealthier than those in Detroit. In the first decade after China joined the WTO, the U.S. auto parts industry, on the whole, lost 419,000 jobs. Even NPR said, quote, "The China shock created what looked like miniature Great Depressions in these places." But nobody noticed because nobody cares about the center of the country. Between the year 2000 and 2010, the U.S. lost over 5.5 million manufacturing jobs. That's the steepest drop-off in our history. Look at that. It is tragic. It is the draining of the American dream. All of this has caused the middle class to flatline. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, adjusted for inflation, this is going to kill you. The median household income in 2001 was $80,000. In 2023, the most recent data, the median household income is $86,000. 2.5 decades and an increase of income of $6,000. The cost of living has gone through the roof. This doesn't work. Meanwhile, check out this Federal Reserve chart. Ready? Over the same period that the middle class flatlined, corporate profits skyrocketed, 600% increase. Offshoring to China, slashing the labor cost, CEOs got fat while the U.S. factory worker gets a pink slip. Inequality is a gaping wound in America, and globalization just keeps pouring salt in it. This is the backdrop of Trump's current tariff battle with China. That's what he's trying to solve. You may not like tariffs, but at least he's listening and trying to do something. For 25 years, the arrangement has been great for China, and despite the insane trade deficit, great for a lot of U.S. corporations. But globalization, especially the China portion, turned American towns into ghost towns, broke families, crushed dreams, sold the backbone of our nation out. And what are people doing now? Drugs.